Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner here. Thursday, September 6th, and we are proud to have Miss Lita Ford headlining the Corova here tonight. But before she goes on stage, she's taking the time to talk to us for a little bit. How are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yes, well, of course, for several reasons, it's wonderful that you are here. One of them being that Lita is still currently opening arenas on tour with Def Leppard and Poison, but tonight is an off day from that show. So San Antonio is lucky to have her here in headline mode. Just talk a little bit about how that tour has been going and how you feel about being able to play, you know, a lot more songs, have a lot more freedom for tonight's show.
Yeah, oh man. Well, the tour, the Def Leppard Poison tour is wonderful, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. It's really been the ultimate summer for me. But the days off, we go and we jam in these clubs, and we just have fun. We have a couple cocktails, we get on stage, and we just jam. And the audience gets into it, you know, and it gets real personal. It's more of a personal gig than the arena gigs. That's it. That's the difference.
Well, I would think that, you know, it's Catch-22, or, you know, they both have their advantages. I would assume you probably don't get as much time opening for Def Leppard and Poison, but you get the crowd size. So, kind of, what can we expect tonight as far as length of the show and, you know, the catalog that you might be presenting tonight live?
Oh God! Well, last night we played Corpus Christi, and I think we must have played an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes. We just kept jamming. It was so fun. It's just loose, and everyone's having drinks, just, you know, throwing the horns, and it's just great. So we start with some new songs. We do a couple of songs off Living Like a Runaway, and we do Out for Blood, Back to the Cave, Hungry, of course Close My Eyes Forever, and Kiss Me Deadly. And we got a lot of shit last night because we didn't come back out and do an encore. But we played so long, we were on the ocean. Guitars were going out of tune, all kinds of stuff. So.
And that's another great reason that we have you here tonight, because, like I mentioned before, you played about 11 months ago at the South Texas Rock Fest, and that was a 2-day 80s themed fest that featured Lita along with Quiet Riot, Warren, Theo Disciples, UFO, Saxon, bunch of others. And but that, we had spoken on the phone right before that, and you weren't quite, I don't know if the term available is correct, but as far as you weren't quite ready to play the new songs yet off of Living Like a Runaway.
Yes.
So tonight,
you're right.
I'm assuming we'll be able to hear a good chunk of that.
Yes. When you saw me during that time, I was in the process of recording the album. So it wasn't finished yet, but it's finished now, and it's out, and it's available, and it smokes.
And obviously, you know, is it safe to say it's one of the most, if not the most, autobiographical records you've ever written? Do you have a song or two favorite? Can you just talk about your mindset going into it?
Actually, I don't have a song favorite. You know, that's one thing that people say, oh, what's the song on the album? Because people are so used to having one song on the album these days. I don't know why it's come to that, but this album is, in my opinion, great in its entirety. There's not one track, there's not one specific track that anybody should listen to, because every song on this album can apply to something in somebody's life somewhere. Everyone.
Well, I know it just starts right off the bat with Branded, which is a really, you know, hard hitter.
Branded. I mean, you know, these days we're all branded. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us.
But it sets the tone in a nice hard rockin' way, I think, for the record, and you just kind of encapsulates, at least from a listener standpoint, the way I interpret it, is where you're coming from and speaking from.
It's a Lita Ford record.
So, and of course, one of the other great reasons, I'm going to talk more about the record shortly, but one of the other great reasons it's great to have Lita here is that, obviously, you are alive and well, and I know you've been talking about this a lot. For those of you who don't know, it's basically been going on for a couple of years. That there have been rumors out there blowing up on the internet that Lita has died. She's in a water skiing accident. If you're not convinced, here she is, alive and well. But do you even have any idea how that started, where it came from?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. But I mean, it wasn't just one of those internet blown up things. It was a thing that caused you to go on your website and to specify for fans, hey, I acknowledge that this is happening. I'm doing okay. Here I am.
It's just some asshole that has nothing better to do with his fucking life.
Gotcha.
Is what it is.
Well, we are glad to have you here, and for Living Like a Runaway, going back to the record, I mean, obviously you've got a few songs I know collaborating with Nikki Sixx on a song to slit your wrist by.
Yeah.
Definitely a topic that he knows a lot about, I'm sure. How did that partnership come up? Was the song something that had been brewing for a while? Can you talk about that?
I've explained it before in quite a few different interviews, but it's weird how that song came about because it literally appeared on my desktop. I was sitting at the computer one day, and this thing popped up that said, "A song to slit your wrist by, Nikki Sixx." And I thought, I don't have any Nikki Sixx songs saved to desktop. What the hell is this? I don't even know this song. I never heard it before. So I listened to it, and I thought, oh my God, I gotta do this song. This is, because he wrote it a long time ago, so it's old, it's an older song. So it's okay, you know, redo it. It wasn't like it was written yesterday. So I emailed him and I asked him what it was and what it was used for and can I have it? And he said, go for it. Do what you want with it. So we added another guitar solo and we gave it a little bit of an industrial Nine Inch Nails vibe and it came out nasty. And I love it. But I don't recommend that you try it at home.
Don't, yeah. Very good advice right there.
Yeah, or anywhere else for that matter.
And of course, for my personal, one of my top 3 Lita Ford song favorites is "Can't Catch Me," and of course, it's been well documented that one of your, that's one of your biggest collaborations with that song was with Mr. Lemmy Kilmister.
Yeah.
And I know you've kind of talked about before how you were kind of lost looking for his house and how that just all developed. Can you kind of share with people who may not know that? Can you share a brief version of the Lemmy story?
Well, Lemmy's a good friend of mine. I love him. He's just such a wonderful person, and I just love him as a human being. You know, he's a good man. But I went to his apartment down the street from the Rainbow Bar and Grill. This is a long time ago, and we had a few drinks and we started writing. And next thing I know, it's like 3 days later. And I had to leave. We had this song, and I was so out of it, I couldn't get home. I had to call my girlfriend to come pick me up because I couldn't drive. And I don't even know how to get home. I don't even know where it is. But it was great 3 days, and we got one kick-ass song out of it.
Will you be playing it tonight?
Absolutely. Yes.
One of my favorites. Yes. Well, I'm curious, how do you listen to any of the so-called newer bands or 21st century bands? Do you listen to a lot of the rock that's out there these days, or are you just so busy with your own thing?
Well, I listen to them and then I turn them off. I really like 6 a.m. Life is Beautiful is a killer song, and I use it to warm up in the dressing room. I listen to Def Leppard, of course, because we're touring with them, and I love their songs. I use them to warm up, and anything that I have to sing on stage, I have on my computer, and I put it on in the dressing room while I'm getting ready, and I listen to that. But that's pretty much it. I Google around and look at different things, but there really isn't anything that drives me crazy. There really isn't anything out there that drives me crazy. There's a few older songs that I like. We're getting ready to shoot a video for The Devil in My Head, so I've been looking at different videos, trying to get different vibes and concepts. Everywhere from Madonna to Miley Cyrus on horses, just to get, because it's going to be filmed at Joshua Tree in the desert, and it's going to be dark, eerie. sorry. Dark and eerie, nasty, evil, maybe a little fire.
Well, one of the main reasons I asked that is because I've had the pleasure the last couple of years on more than one occasion of interviewing Maria Brink, the lead singer of In This Moment, and she has told me that she and Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch were apparently tremendously close to covering Close My Eyes Forever.
Oh, really?
And apparently a record label snafu at the very last second prevented them from doing that. And she has told me that it was Ivan's idea, in fact, to do that. And I was wondering if maybe you were familiar with those bands and if you thought maybe they would have done justice to you and Ozzy, or if you had any knowledge of how that might turn out or any opinion on
I
that.
have no idea.
Yeah. Well, but of course it's always flattering that people want to cover whenever they want to cover your songs.
Yeah, it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard about them.
Okay.
What, Five Finger Death Punch?
Death Punch and In This
No,
Moment.
I haven't heard about that band covering an Ozzy tune.
Right.
Lita Ozzy tune.
Well,
No,
again, it was just
I have
something thrown
not.
about. It wasn't something that was released or anything. So, but again, talking more about Living Like a Runaway, an autobiographical record. Can you, it's been documented as well that you kind of bury the hatchet with Joan and the rest of the band, and you've been in communication with them. Can you just kind of give us a sense as to what led to all that? Do you feel kind of at peace with all of that? Do you have any opinions about the movie? Any of all that?
I haven't seen the movie. I did see the trailers. From what I understand, I kicked somebody in the movie. I was gonna say video. I kicked somebody, but I have never kicked a person in my life. So if that's in that movie, that's not real. And I'm mortified that they would put that in there because they know I never kicked anybody. And the girls, I talked to Cherie. Got a couple emails from her the other day, and Vicky Tischler-Blue, the bass player, is the video director for The Devil in My Head.
Wow.
She's going to be she did Edge Play. She's going to be doing my video.
Very nice.
So we worked very well together.
Okay.
So we're all doing good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and we're also interviewing Lita here on a day where it happens to be tonight is the MTV Video Music Awards, which I don't even know why they've had that for the last 15 years since they don't show
what do they give
videos
awards
anymore.
for anymore?
I have no idea, but back in the day, of course, you were nominated a few times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the MTV Video Music Awards, but the Grammys, where you were with Alice Cooper on stage announcing the infamous Jethro Tull beating Metallica.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in '89, I believe.
Yeah, I got to.
Any stories about that?
I got to do that. That was so funny. Alice pulled a rubber snake out of his jacket when he went to reach for the envelope. And the envelope, please. Alice sticks his hand in his jacket and he pulls out a rubber snake, and he goes, "Here, hold this." And I took it and I tossed it in the audience. And I stood there for a second waiting for Alice to open the envelope, and he's fondling with this envelope, and this snake comes flying back at me. So I'm like, oh my God, they threw it back at me. So I grabbed it and I tossed it way out into the audience. And I thought, man, please don't throw this thing back at me a third time.
Was the audience just filled with suit and tie record industry people?
Oh,
people
no.
who weren't familiar with metal?
No. There's all
Everybody.
rockers, industry, and then all the fans sit up top.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all the industry on the bottom, on the floor, and then on the top you've got all the fans, and they're all screaming, and it's really fun. It's really fun. But Alice is one amazing person. Talent and originality. It's just, there's nobody like Alice. Nobody. You could try to be, but you can't be. You can't recreate him.
And you did Only Women Bleed, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure that was a great experience as well.
Well, it was tough because that is a serious song, and there's a lot of really intricate guitar parts. Slide guitar, pedal steel. There's these beautiful vocal harmonies. It's a big production of a song. It's not like a Ramones song or something that you would just jam and rock out to. This song is a production, And I wanted it to, I wanted Alice to be happy with it. I wanted, you know, I have so much respect for him, and I just wanted him to be happy. And at the same time, when you perform a song like that, to have the balls to take on such a huge production of a song, you better fucking own it. And if you don't own it, it ain't worth doing. Gotta own it. And I hope Alice was happy with it. On Living Like a Runaway, I did a remake of The Bitch Is Back.
Right, Elton John.
And that I did, you know, Elton John is part of the soundtrack of my life. And, of course, his version is the first original. There's no other version like it. But, you know, and it's his song, and I appreciate that. And I got his blessings to do the remake of his song. But my meaning behind the song is literally, the bitch is back. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not anything to do with sexuality or anything like that. It's just, here I am. That's all.
And of course, Living Like a Runaway was, you know, a big producing and collaborative effort, and a duet with Gary Hoey.
Yeah.
But can you just kind of tell people a little bit how you guys came about teaming up, and also talk a little bit about your bandmates that are going to be on stage with you tonight?
Okay. Gary Hoey, just a magnificent person, and insanely good guitar player. Very creative. He's an absolute godsend to me in my life, and his family are really, I hold them really, really close to my heart. And using him as a producer, because he's a guitar player, it was a different approach. It was an approach that I had never taken before, because most of the producers I've worked with, all the producers I've worked with, were producers. They weren't musician producers. They were just producers. Where Gary Hoey is a brilliant musician. He's not just a guitar player. He can sing his ass off. He plays his ass off. He also plays keyboards, and he's a producer. So I really, I don't know, him and I together have a certain chemistry that came to life on Living Like a Runaway, unlike any other record I've ever done.
And your bandmates tonight that are going to be here, I'm assuming the same guys that were here last year.
Yes.
Right?
No, the guys that were here last year, no. I put together a different group of guys for the Def Leppard Poison tour. After the album was finished, I moved to LA from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I wanted a West Coast-based band. So they were all there, you know. If I call them up and say, hey, can you guys rehearse in 5 minutes? It's like, yeah, you don't have to get on a plane and all that shit. So I got Mitch Perry on guitar. Mitch has played with Michael Schenker, Edgar Winter, oh God, Asia, Heaven, Cher. He's played with everybody. And he's a great guy. I love him to death. Scotty Coogan is on drums. Scotty played with Ace Frehley. He was in Brides of Destruction with Nikki Sixx, and also Lynch Mob. And then Marty O'Brien on the bass, and he played with Tommy Lee. He was in Tommy Lee's solo project, and he's done a few Oz fests, so he's really used to playing the big arenas. And he's a motherfucker on the bass, and he sings great. So that's what I wanted, was somebody powerful on the bass.
Well, we cannot wait to see you guys do your thing tonight.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, before we talked on the phone 11 months ago, you were getting set to take part in the rock and roll fantasy camp at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
So how did that go?
Oh, God. That was fun. That was really fun. The rock and roll fantasy camps are always fun. They're a lot of work. There are always tons and tons of people, tons and tons of rock stars everywhere, and everybody just has a great time together. You know, we get on a bus, We all use the same toilet. We all eat together. We all learn songs together, you know. What one person doesn't know, somebody else will come in and show the band. And it's just a blast. They're really great. I'm doing the one this year in Las Vegas.
Nice. Do you know when that is? Maybe I got to make plans to go there.
It's October. I'm not exactly sure of the date. Don't quote me on the date.
Also next month already.
But it's October,
Wow.
yes.
Okay. Well, Lita, thank you so very much. And I know your birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, and last year you celebrated in Houston. So it's always nice to have you around in Texas anytime,
Thank you.
but especially during that special time of the year for us. So thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
Thanks.
Appreciate it very much. Go check out Lita on tour. Pick up Living Like a Runaway.
Definitely.
Whether she's doing a headlining show or with Def Leppard and Poison, go check her out. For Lita, this is Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.